We always think about change as this big, dramatic thing, right? Like some huge event that flips a switch. But what if the real, lasting transformations? What if they happen in the quiet moments? That's what we're going to get into today. We'll follow the story of a young guy named Arav to see how the smallest, most invisible actions can build the person you were always meant to be.
I think we've all been there. You wake up and there's just this heaviness. The world feels like it's spinning a million miles an hour. It's loud, it's demanding, and you just feel like you're completely standing still.
And then you're scrolling, right? Or just going about your day, and you see other people moving forward, getting things done, and that quiet little question just bubbles up from somewhere deep inside. Why them? Why not me? And man, that question can really start to eat at you. Well, this is exactly where we find our guy, Arav. He had all these big dreams, but his days, they were just a mess, scattered. His mind would just jump from one distraction to another. But his struggle wasn't what you might think on the surface. See, it's really important to get this straight. His problem wasn't a lack of strength. And it wasn't laziness either. He genuinely wanted to move forward. He just couldn't. That was the core of it. He was just lost, completely adrift. And day by day, his confidence was just slowly leaking out. And he felt more and more disconnected from that person he actually wanted to be. But then, something small changes. He stumbles upon this dusty old book, and instead of grabbing his phone, he actually opens it. And this leads to the very first crucial insight, the one that really changes the game. He realized he'd been chasing the wrong thing. He didn't need motivation. He needed something much, much more powerful. He reads this, and it's like a light bulb just goes off in his head. This was a huge perspective shift. Arav suddenly got that his current state, being confused, being undisciplined, it wasn't a permanent identity. It was just a phase that every single successful person had already been through. He wasn't broken. He was just at the beginning. And this right here perfectly explains his big discovery. See, motivation is a feeling. It's like a sugar rush. It feels great, but it's fleeting. It comes and goes. But clarity? Clarity is totally different. Clarity is an understanding. It's knowing exactly where you are and what the very next step is. And unlike motivation, clarity doesn't just inspire you, it practically forces you to act. So, armed with this newfound clarity, Arav puts a new strategy into play. And I gotta tell you, it is not dramatic, it's not exciting at all. In fact, its power is in how ridiculously simple and, well, kind of boring it is. This was his entire rule. 10 pages. Just 10 pages a day, every single day. No excuses. Not 100 pages, not trying to finish a book in a week. Just a small, simple promise to himself that was almost too easy to fail. Now at first, nothing. It felt like absolutely nothing was happening. Some days he was tired, some days he was bored, but as the weeks started to pile up, these tiny actions began to compound, almost invisibly. His thoughts started to get calmer. His words became a little sharper. His confidence, it grew stronger, but in a quieter, more solid way. And that's the beautiful secret of consistency, isn't it? It isn't some loud, flashy event. It's the quiet, steady hum of progress happening in the background. It's the force that builds real momentum, day after day, just whispering in your ear, hey, you're on the right track, keep going. Okay, so this consistency starts to unlock an even deeper level of understanding for him. As he kept showing up for himself, his whole relationship with the idea of discipline began to completely transform. This was the thought that changed everything. One morning, he really did not feel like reading at all. But then it hit him. Showing up wasn't about the 10 pages. It was about keeping a promise to the one person whose trust he couldn't afford to lose, himself. And suddenly, boom, discipline wasn't a punishment anymore. It wasn't about being rigid or forcing himself to do stuff he hated. It became an act of self-respect. It was the foundation of self-trust. And that trust is what ultimately made him feel free from his own excuses. So all of these internal shifts, going from confusion to clarity, from chasing motivation to building consistency, from seeing discipline as a chore to seeing it as self-respect, all of it started to build a brand new reality for Arav on the outside. He added one more tiny habit. Every night, he'd write down just one thing he was grateful for. And this simple act completely rewired his brain. He stopped desperately chasing after what other people thought was success, and he started calmly building a life that he actually valued. The ambition was still there, for sure, But that needy, desperate feeling was gone.
And this is why all of this matters so much. Because in the long run, the world rewards these quiet traits. It rewards the deep thinker, the consistent person who just doesn't quit, the disciplined person who respects their own word, and the grateful person who stays grounded. Arav was slowly but surely becoming one of those people.
So, if you feel anything like Arav did at the beginning of all this, if you feel stuck, lost, distracted, here is the single most important takeaway. You are not broken. You might just be undisciplined and inconsistent. And you know what the good news is? That is 100% fixable.
The path forward is so much simpler than we make it out to be. Just start small, exactly like Arav did. Read a few pages every day or pick some other tiny, consistent action. Just show up for yourself, especially when it feels boring. And try to practice a little gratitude, even when it's tough. You don't need some massive life overhaul, you just need to start. Because one day, without any fanfare, you'll look around and realize you didn't become someone new. Through all these small, quiet, consistent acts of self-respect, you just finally became the person you were always supposed to be. The only real question left is, are you ready to start that quiet work today?